Trying to.
Oh.
He's present.
He's present. You might hear him occasionally, but yeah. So before we get started on our story, I'd like to ask you to give a little bit of background on yourself and things that have happened in your life before this, obviously. So, yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so what kind of led me to even be part of this is I watched the program like everybody else in the country did.
Oh yeah,
Um,
I started episode 1, but I haven't gotten a chance to finish it.
Oh, okay. It's a tough watch.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say that it's gonna be like a cakewalk to sit through, but you can do it. I'm kind of torn from, whether or not I found it to be like, gut-wrenching and hard, or if I'm like super happy that this is like out there because I don't know why these people should get to hide in plain sight. You know?
Yeah.
Why do you get to go to your car with like not wondering if people are shooting you dirty looks? Like,
Well,
nah.
first of all, thanks for plugging the title. Roll credits. Not that that matters. Yeah. So you were watching the program, which, yes, but like you obviously are aware of all of this going on. So the question we always start off with here is background before you were in, and what led you to being a part of an institute like this.
So, back in the olden times, in 2000,
Oh God.
yeah, I was 15,
Mm.
and I mean, I was not a great kid, but like, knowing what I know now, being, almost 40, I think I was a relatively normal teenager. I mean, I was a bad teenager, but I skipped school.
So, as teenagers today, I'd like to ask, what did a bad teenager look like 24 years ago? Because bad teenagers today are, I'm sorry to anybody who is watching this that is in my normal day-to-day life that does some of this. Purely coincidence, by the way. Which is where they like sneak off and vape in the bathrooms. So what did a bad teenager look like back in
Okay, so we were more analog back then, so those kids smoked in the bathrooms. Like I'm not really being funny. Like that's what happened.
That's not
but
funny to talk about, obviously. It's a very disturbing and like gross topic.
but like I was definitely out drinking. I was using drugs. I was skipping school. I was arguing with my parents. I was doing some pretty messed up stuff. I'm not saying that like I didn't need some kind of intervention of some kind, but
Yes.
the pastor of my church
Ooh.
had
Oh God.
convinced. Oh yeah. Oh, it gets good. So, pastor of my church convinces my parents that there's this place up in Fort Dodge, Iowa, and it's like a camp.
Ooh, that's
And
a good one.
well, I mean that's how they sold all of them, from what I'm gathering now.
And we
But
before.
it's like a camp, and
Yeah.
you just get time away.
Okay, so I'm assuming since you said Iowa, you grew up closer to the South or the Midwest, I presume.
Yeah, I'm actually from Iowa.
Oh.
Oh, you're from. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I got a little bit of So I'm assuming this pastor, right? So I'm assuming you were your family was religious because you went to church and
Eh, It was kind of a mixed bag because like I grew up predominantly with a single mom,
uh
but
I
then
see.
but then she married my stepdad, who I mean I'm not like trashing this man in any way. He loved us very much. I feel like his heart was in the right place. It just didn't go well.
did you have a relationship with your birth father?
No, because he was a child abusing piece of crap.
Ah.
Mm, yeah, I feel like that's kind of the first time I've heard like I've heard something like an abusive father on this. I feel like I don't know if like because I've gotten like kind of neglectful, but I've never gotten like full on abusive.
That's fair.
Um,
I've gotten
I mean, some
mom.
stuff happened to me when I was like a toddler. I mean, like I don't really want to super get into it, but like
Have
there's
to get into
definitely
let's
valid
not
reasons why we don't have a relationship.
I
let's
see.
not get into the disturbing side of that. That would definitely get me age restricted and demonetized, and would also probably kill the whole channel. So there's that.
Let us not, but
Not
that's
get
not what we're here to talk about anyway.
no. So we're not. We're
So
about something different. So your pastor at your church said, "Ooh, she needs help." I want to.
yeah, pretty much, pretty much.
I really want to. I really want to make fun of like the southern like this redneck, just sort of this kind of boy. I'm so sorry. I look like such an idiot. I'm sorry, folks.
You're fine because that's pretty much what it sounded like for real. Like, oh my god. So these people um sent all kinds of information to my parents about how like, they just use the Bible to guide you through life and that, they provide discipline by providing smaller portions and reducing privileges.
Ooh.
Yeah.
This is
So,
not-
sorry.
no good.
Yeah. So, my sophomore year of high school, I had skipped school one day, and I guess it was like the last straw because then I ended up on a 4-hour trip up to the Anchor Character Training Center in Fort Dodge, Iowa.
Yes.
So, it kind of just gave you like an eerie vibe, like all the way around just being there because it was like I did a little bit of digging after watching the program because I hadn't really even thought about these people in like 20 plus years. And, it used to be, I guess, the Webster County home, which I had heard from other people that stayed at this place with me that they had heard that it was like an asylum or something to that effect.
Ooh.
Oh, hey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was just bone chilling.
That sound disturbing. Oh gosh.
Well, and it's in the middle of absolutely nowhere, like super rural. They had no neighbors. I mean, like you could run away, but it would suck, and you'd probably get caught. But that didn't stop a few of us.
So let's talk more about what this place was like, because we usually try to get a feel for what this place would look like, and then I kind of think about it and just kind of picture it in my brain and talk about and just like ask some questions. So what did this place? I'm sorry, what was it called? I forget already.
Anchor Character Training Center.
Anchor Character Training Center.
Is an interesting name.
Anchor Character Training Center. What did that look like?
Okay, so it was like this giant brick building. It was like it looked like it had like nursing home type rooms on the inside, but like crappy nursing home rooms.
Crappy nursing home rooms. All right.
Yeah. It had each floor, I'm guessing, because I never saw the boys' floor, but the girls' floor had a communal shower, which was super gross. Fun fact in the
okay.
Yeah. Oh, and we were all teenagers at this point, so I'm sure that wasn't super illegal or anything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm thinking college dorms right now, and I'm just kind of like thinking that, like, Well, college dorms don't have communal showers. I don't think. Whatever. I'm not in college yet. I'll find out eventually.
Um,
Anyway,
well, I mean, like, I've obviously been through college and I didn't live in the dorms, but I'm 100% sure that does not happen.
Not
okay,
like
that's
open communal.
Not like that.
Anyways, like communal, like everybody shares one.
no. That's like I'm not. Yeah, prison has those.
It's closer to prison.
Oh, Lord. That says a lot about.
And
There's a-
fun fact about showers there. So, Fort Dodge, Iowa is pretty north in Iowa.
Mm-hmm.
So winters are pretty awful.
Ooh.
And so, like, it's not unheard of or abnormal in the wintertime for it to be like 20, 30 below.
We're
And
West Coast, so we don't deal with that kind of weather.
lucky, like it's March 20, well,
Second.
22nd for a little bit longer here. But we literally just got a snowstorm.
Oh, jeez.
Like, it's crazy.
Wow.
But no, so they would have us leave the windows open, just a crack in there at all times because, God forbid, the steam would do something to the walls or the paint.
Oh.
Not like the people that had to shower and catch pneumonia and shit. Nah, don't worry about them.
Hey. As long as this is still allowed to be on the internet, I think we're good.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay. You don't have to apologize for expressing your opinion. Or cursing. Or both.
Yeah. Well, so, these people, they were apparently a ministry of the Harvest Baptist Church in Fort Dodge, Iowa.
Oh my god.
Is this the
Yeah, so,
is this the first TTI facility we've had that is like focused on religion? I think. Like.
oh, okay, because these were fundamental Baptist weirdos. Come to find that out.
I think this is the first one because Jen was in a more like psychiatric focused facility, and then I think was it Drew was in like a wilderness program.
He was Drew was in a wilderness program, and the research I'm doing for the Anasazi project, that's also a wilderness program.
Yeah, so we're getting like all kinds of different types of TTI facilities with this.
So, what I'm putting together, I'm imagining this brick built. The default thing I usually think of when I think of these facilities is an industrial building, but now I'm hearing a brick built something right out in the middle of nowhere
In Iowa.
with a communal. Right out in the middle of rural Iowa with a communal shower.
Yeah.
Which sounds like nothing. Hey.
So, I get there, it's probably about 8 o'clock at night by the time my parents got me there. And so, like, I was at least spared the indignified experience that I've heard a lot of other people have of, like, having to, like, strip down completely naked and squat and all that.
Or being taken from your home in the middle of the night.
Or being taken from my home in the middle of the night.
Which
I can't say that it was vastly much more wonderful being dropped off by your parents either, though. That's a different kind of distrust.
there's no good way.
There's not a good way.
One of these.
Yeah.
There's no good way.
There's no good way.
There's no good in these places.
There's no good. Period. Yeah. There's no good way at all. And there's no good in this place. Period. I've heard no shining moments so far in stories.
So
No, because they don't exist.
yeah. What was your first impression when you got here and it was like late at night?
I was terrified. I thought, okay, they must be really committed to scaring the crap out of me, and they're gonna like tell me at any minute that like, okay, well, next time you start your crap, this is what's gonna happen, and then we're gonna go home or something. But then they didn't.
Ooh.
Like
Instead, I got rushed away to a chapel service that they had every single night.
at 8 in the evening.
Yes, because that's what you do right before bed, apparently.
Wow,
Huh.
this is taking quite the turn of the worst, and I'm thinking of way too many things I shouldn't be thinking of.
Um,
Hey,
but at first, it was just strict. I had to wear skirts. They had to go to your ankles. You had to wear like not super loose fitting tops, but nothing that like accentuated your figure or drew like any attention to any feminizing part of you.
so not like skin tight
Right.
thing.
You couldn't wear makeup.
Mm.
Like
So
you couldn't like do much of anything with your hair. It was really weird.
yeah.
Um, and then they had boys, like I said, they had boys and also girls on separate floors. You weren't allowed to talk to them, look at them, converse with them, none of the above with them.
Okay. They were just they just kept you just kind of separated
Right.
and
But then like also together at the same time because you'd have to go to scenarios like chapel with them at the same time. Like, but then you'd get like corporal punishment for looking at them.
mm,
So, it's
about
kind of
which
hard if you pass somebody in the hall, you know?
corporal punishment is something about which I will have a lot to say later. Let's just say that.
Oh, yeah.
Say later.
Oh, but that's okay. It's not like my parents had any idea that that was part of it. So, yeah,
Because that's the important part.
that's the important part. But yeah, no. So, yeah, a few days goes on, and like, they don't let you they don't let you contact your parents, your family, nobody for 30 whole days for the first time that you're there. Yeah.
They're like, yeah, it's
Um,
exactly like a prison or something. They only have like once a month you can interact with people.
on like, when you finally could interact with them, they listened to all your phone conversations because they were always like right there, or
Yep.
they were on another phone. They would always read through like my mail and everything, so like I could never like ask to go home or any of that because then you'd be in trouble for manipulating your parents. And apparently you needed to pray harder on that.
I just think of the Shawshank Redemption and like how there were guards in that movie that were just that only had their job to abuse their power. Were the
Uh,
people there like that?
very much like that.
I
Like incredibly like that.
I just hate hearing that. Oh God, no! Yeah, they put him. Yeah, he went to a correctional facility in the prison. Well, that's
Well, they probably have more rights.
yeah, yeah.
Well, and I kind of wondered, well, not even kind of, I really wondered for so long how it is that this place got away with it. Because, like, I never saw, like, anybody come to inspect the joint, you know,
Buddy.
and, I was 15, so it's not like I knew that these were, like, red flag things to look out for. So, hindsight being 2020 so many years later, it's like, damn, I wish I knew that. But,
Yeah, 100.
but yeah, but, like, nobody came to inspect them. There's no way that, like, my parents were the only ones that were upset or complained. It's not possible. People were I knew of, like, a handful of people that ran away just during the 8 months that I was there, and
8.
8 months. And I know that, like, that's, like, nothing compared to some people's, like,
Yeah,
at all.
we our conversation with Drew, he was there for like I don't know how he was there for like year and a half.
Yeah.
He was there from like August to like December the next year. It was like, oh,
Oh, God.
it's not that like 8 months is still a long time. The time there, even a day. Like I don't know if there's just anybody who's been there for a day, which definitely not. What's the
Well, and like,
yeah.
huh?
I was thinking like the least amount of time people have been there, but that's a question for another time, anyways. Like, yeah.
Right. Well, so these people were apparently telling the community that, like, they don't charge the parents anything. They just, pay what they can. Except that I was looking on the Unsilent site, and some of their archive material was one of their applications from like the very end of when they were open. And looks like a lot of things had either changed or else my parents were just completely oblivious or couldn't read one of the options there. But like it said that like it was $100 a month plus like a $5,000 deposit to put me in there. Um
Jeez.
Yeah, so I'm like, I'm not sure where you're getting this you pay what you can crap, because they even themselves say that that's not true.
Right.
When I talked to my mom about this after I saw the thing on Netflix, then she was like, I didn't know anything about that. I actually didn't have to pay anything. And then she's like, wait a second, so that means that the church was paying for it. And I'm like, oh my God, yeah, probably.
Yeah, I have a feeling the church had something to do with this. Now I have to ask about the types of abuse they would put you through. Let's get back to corporal punishment for a second, because I just need to know what they did.
So I was personally victim to them using wooden paddles to give swats.
Oh my god.
Yeah. And, they always made it sound like it was just female staff members that could do it to the female residents, but that wasn't the case, like, at all.
No,
Like, grown ass men hit me across the behind with wooden paddles.
Oh Christ.
Yeah.
And I thought we were behind that by the time, the new millennium came around. Nope.
The entire system feels like it's stuck in time.
Oh my god, I have so many questions about why that's even a thing in the first place. Why would you hit a child? I have very strong feelings about corporal punishment.
I feel
Well,
like
I'm glad you guys asked, actually, because these guys apparently used the Bible to justify all kinds of horrible, horrible things that they did, including beating children, which apparently is God himself's word.
Oh my! This is
what else would they have done? Not use God's words against him to commit horrible atrocities?
I
mean, it's easier than, owning it.
Yeah.
Old Testament. When people follow the Old Testament, it just gets on my freaking nerves. I swear to God, it's just like every single thing I see that they say they do it in the name of Christ. Some of the most bigoted people on this planet, not naming names because I don't want to get political.
Right.
This Old Testament bullcrap. And like, it just bothers me so much every time I hear a story like this or see stuff like Unite the Right back in 2017. I just increasingly get more frustrated and ask so many more questions. Like, do you really believe that someone like God would like you doing this to be a hateful and bigoted human being? The question
I'm sorry?
A question of morality. That's what it was.
Oh, for sure. Well, and like I remember like even being 15 years old, seeing this going on playing out in front of me. Even I was like, are you sure this is what God would want? Because that's not how I've ever understood it.
It's the
Like,
Yeah.
$1 billion question.
I'm
And
curious. Are you still religious?
not at all, really.
Yeah, that's fair. I
Like,
can't imagine
like I don't
after
like
that.
admonish other people for being religious, but like it's not for me, obviously.
I would definitely not be religious either if I had gone through that.
Yeah, I
Corporal
definitely strong
punishment.
motivator for.
I think I am one of those people that says corporal punishment should be illegal,
Is it
and
not?
that's part of
I thought it was.
I thought it
it's.
was too.
Apparently not, but like,
Well, I mean,
just
a
like,
lot of what the TTI does is illegal. They just don't get found out. Wait, hold on. Let
well,
me Google it real quick. There's no way it's not.
if it isn't, then like my point like stands clear because I just find it disgusting how you would how adults can lay hands on children if it's their own parents too.
Corporal punishment is still used in schools to a significant extent in some public schools in Alabama, Arkansas, Georgia, Louisiana, Mississippi, Oklahoma, Tennessee, and Texas. The most recent
Okay, it's
state
all the
to
South.
outlaw public school corporal punishment was Idaho in July 2023.
Wow.
You
I
know.
mean,
Just
yeah, that's
wow.
insane. You were in the 2000s, so on it might actually
Yeah.
have, it might have still been legal back then, which is insane.
Huh. And per the limited amount of information that I've gotten online about these people, because like magically, like nothing about them exists anymore.
Yeah.
Somehow, some way.
Somehow, some way, a facility could exist from 1996 to 2020 and not have like anything but a handful of newspaper articles about them.
24 years open and it still hasn't appeared.
Right. So I mean, weird. um,
That's just appalling, and it's also really baffling to me. And like, I'm gonna just say this right now. My parents didn't believe in corporal punishment. They never wanted to do that to me because my mother was abused, and she said that she didn't want to be that person before me and my younger brother were born. So I have really strong negative feelings towards that as a practice. And whenever kids say that their parents spanked them, I just get like really, I just feel really sick. And like, parents is one thing, teachers and religious
other adults is not appropriate at all.
no, it's not. It's
Like
worse.
in any way.
I'd say it's worse if it's the parent, but it's still bad.
It's
If
bad
you
in
are-
any context.
Right. I say nobody should be doing it.
Yeah.
No, I am 100% against it. I would never dream of laying my hands on a child in that manner. I would
Right.
never, ever, ever. I'd rather do literally anything else. So they'd hit you with the wooden paddle. Anything else?
So if you dared to disagree, smart off, any of the above, you are also subject to being put in isolation.
Oh, another
Uh,
fun common one we see.
That's a common one. That's something we've both heard. And unfortunately, one of the stories we were talking about ended up with the death of a chair
And a light bulb.
and the light bulb. But the chair is more important because the chair was the one that they got freaked out over.
That's true.
Oh.
They didn't
Although-
care too much.
They what?
Not the person.
Matsy needed to replace the light bulb, didn't he? Like buy a new one for them because they're
Oh,
that
yeah.
petty.
Oh.
He did, but still, the chair was like the big takeaway I have from that one.
Anyways, what was isolation like in like this place?
So it was like just this like plain all white room where it was just like a desk and a chair, and that was it.
Yikes.
There was like one window where the staff could look in on you, and that was pretty much the end of it. They would come and pull you up for meals where you'd like sit all by yourself at a table where you couldn't see anybody. And then the staff would walk you back to the isolation room until it was like time for showers or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, white. It's like a nightmare. It's just like sensory deprivation.
Yeah, pretty much. And sometimes if you were really lucky, you'd get to like write Bible verses over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Now I'm thinking Bart Simpson. on the whiteboard, I will, or the blackboard, I will never do that. I just spew pop culture references from time to time. Just yeah, it's who I am. It's what I do.
Ironically enough, I used to think of that when they made me do that.
Oh God.
This place really does feel like it's stuck in time.
And that time happens to be like a cross between Little House on the Prairie and also like the civil rights movement.
Pre-civil rights movement, even.
Like the protest part.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Now on that note, were any what was the ethnicities of the staff? I don't know why, but I'm imagining a predominantly white staff.
Well, you'd be right.
Oh, that is accurate. So I'm imagining if it's a predominantly white staff, then I would imagine that they are really they're the bad kind of white people.
Yeah.
I mean,
so,
just bad people.
They're just the bad kind of people.
Yeah.
They're the bad people, but like, yeah, most of the heinous crimes in this country have been committed by awful white men. So I think it's safe to say that I can make a comment like that.
And they probably went to Harvest Baptist Church. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, that's also definitely a possibility.
But yeah, so predominantly white staff. And I thought this was like super weird too. But like, so they had an older couple, like super old, like, well, not super old. That's gonna come back to bite me in the butt someday for saying that. But like grandparently aged.
You have 25 years until that comment comes back to bite you.
Also, these people were like definitely like grandparent types, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Or at least in that age group. But like, they encourage the young residents to refer to them as grandma and grandpa, and I'm like, yeah, I'm never gonna do that. That's not gonna happen because that's weird.
I'm imagining them to be pretty awful people.
And they were super gross.
No. Ay. Just nasty.
They lived on the property. They had a little apartment within that facility.
Yes.
They had another older couple with their somehow like 12-year-old son.
Oh, okay.
Don't know how the hell that worked.
Either adoption or something really NSFW. Just an NSFW, like, in all caps.
Probably not worth thinking about.
No. Just forget I even had that thought in the first place.
But yeah, no, they also had an apartment on the compound. And then there were several staff members that also managed to reside on the compound.
Yes. And they were all predominantly white. Yeah. So I'm getting major vibes to probably a prison somewhere in the south, or based on my bloodline, a Nazi concentration camp.
I felt like that's sometime.
Yeah, as the Jewish guy here, that does actually kind of like scare me a little bit. So there's that.
I can't say that I subscribe to any particular faith, and it's, I guess having some distance between now and then with time and everything is helpful.
Mm-hmm.
But like, it's still messed up.
Yeah.
Like,
So, yeah. All right. Back to the subjects, the punishments, isolation and corporal punishment. Anything else? Any hazing? Any vulgar type of things going on between you and adults? It's okay if you don't want to tell us that.
Well, I mean, outside of them like hitting me, I can't speak for like necessarily every single person that it went there. But like several people that I have gone there with that have reached out to me since the advent of that Netflix special. Especially on the boys' side, apparently there was a lot of violence there.
Oh yeah.
I know of one incident in particular, where one of the male staff members had apparently essayed one of the teenage girls.
Oh.
Um,
Oh god.
and people actually like had to dispute it, and I'm like, no, I'm 100% sure that happened. I know this because he tried to do that to me.
Oh,
How'd you
no.
Like, it checks out.
How'd you stop
But,
it?
huh?
How'd you stop it?
So somehow miraculously, the so-called grandma happened to like knock on the door or something of his office when he was just about to start some stuff. And then like magically he decided that it wasn't a good idea for me to be in there anymore. And I'm like, you think? Like, why? And so then I got to go. And shortly after that was when my mom got the super bad feeling and decided to drive up and just get me.
Oh, thank. She had her mama bear senses started going off.
Finally.
It only took you nearly a year.
Only took 8 months.
It only took you that long. But whatever.
But you know, at the same time while all of this is happening, you know, they're telling my mom and my stepdad at the time that like, you know, this is what I need. Because if I wasn't there, I'd be in prison or dead. Going the way I was going.
Oh my god.
Fully neither. No. They're probably lying. They're definitely lying.
Oh, they're for sure lying. And then I think like the final straw was when she wanted to talk to me and they had said that like I wasn't allowed to talk on the phone and that I had been caught messing around with one of the male residents, which was not untrue. That was true.
So
I did get caught doing that. But
really true.
when she was refused being able to talk to me, that's when she was like, oh, hell no.
I'm going to get my girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just that just sounds like such a disturbing and disappointing like experience. Is there anything else to note from this that's important that you'd like to share with us before we get into some other parts of your story?
Well, as far as the punishments go, I don't know, a lot of it was like really stupid, like punitive stuff too, where like they would find like something that they knew like personally would get to you. Like they would like, you know, pick on like something that you were super sensitive about.
Oh.
Oh god.
Yeah. Like, I went in there and when I was a teenager, I mean, I was like not a super skinny teenager by any means, but like I was probably like 140-ish going in there and I'm like 5'1", so that was already kind of like nearing, you know, green M&M status. But like, you know, I managed in 8 months to lose 40 pounds.
That's a feat.
That is a feat because I ran around the perimeter of the property multiple times for being in trouble.
They made you run.
Laps.
How many laps?
I think like 4 or 5, which doesn't sound like a lot, but the building's freaking huge.
Better than all throughout the nights.
Which, I mean, yeah.
Which would have sucked.
All of it sucked.
Well, this obviously sucks, but it would suck more if they made you do it all throughout the nights.
Like, it scares me to think that people had it worse. And like that was probably one of the scarier parts of like seeing the thing on Netflix too, is that like I honestly thought this was such a weird and outlier experience that this couldn't have possibly happened to that many people, let alone like a whole country full of them because there's a whole industry for it. Like to
Yeah.
know that there's more places like the place I was at is, oh my god.
Now, this is a question I haven't asked anyone else yet, but it is important because it has been on my mind for quite a minute. Did any child lose their life in that facility, whether they took their own life or they were so badly beaten that their bodies just gave up? That
I
you
am
know.
not aware of any of that to my knowledge. I cannot say that it would surprise me if somebody didn't end up taking their life at some point. I can't say that would shock me in any way, shape, or form.
That's a thought, because that's a thought I've had throughout this conversation. Like, I never had it before. Never had a thought like this before when doing one of these. But at the same time, I feel like it's kind of like a question that I was inevitably going to ask. So I'm glad I did. Thank you for giving your clarification. And now I'm gonna talk more about this in future episodes. All right, so they restricted you from speaking to your mom. So your mom finally comes up to get you after 8 months.
Yes.
Pain.
This was also following an attempt to run away during a blizzard.
Ooh.
I'm assuming was a bad idea because it's so.
Oh, I did not care.
I mean, I would have tried to get out too.
I lost a shoe and I kept going.
They caught you though somehow.
They caught me. And also the boy that I was semi involved with. Well, not even semi. I was definitely involved with that boy while I was there somehow during all of that. But he also ran after me and didn't want me to freeze to death.
Oh, he was trying to help you, so
He was trying to help me. Interestingly enough, so he is a Puerto Rican, well, man now.
he's a man.
But he relayed to his mother in Spanish because the staff wasn't able to pick up on that. That things were messed up and she needed to get him.
And she came and got him.
Oh, she sent a plane ticket for him, but yeah. Because he was from New York. They got people from all over the country there.
Ay, ay, ay.
Well, it turns out that the Independent Fundamental Baptist has like a huge reach all over the country. Didn't know that either.
Well, not surprising. A lot of these places tend to have those.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a whole thing. Have you remained in contact with him? By any means?
I have actually. So we actually stayed friends pretty much the whole time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Like we lost contact for a little while, but you know, through the advent of newfangled things like Facebook, we'd gotten back in touch.
Hey.
And so I had actually reached out to him not long after I watched the Netflix thing. We'd kind of been talking through a lot of this together.
That's a good thing, and I'm hoping he's having an okay life now.
Um, I think probably the worst thing that I can say from what I can tell by talking to him is that he was not able to graduate high school,
Oh God.
but he also found a way to make himself a decent living and he seems happy. So I don't know if it's really the worst thing about it.
Oh well, you get what you get.
And most importantly, he's happy.
If he's happy, then we should be happy for him.
Well, and like, I don't want to say that this is necessarily a positive takeaway because there's not really a silver lining from any of that experience, but he's one of my best friends.
Of course, yes.
I'm grateful for him. That's about it though.
That's all there is to it. It's there's nothing else. There's nothing else you can say other than the fact that, well, this is what's going on, and this is how it goes. So you tried to run away. Was that the only time you tried to run away?
It was the only time that I had finally had enough to where like I couldn't think of like a better plan, and I was like, "To hell with it, I'm just running."
Screw it. I'm out. Bye.
Yeah.
Just straight up, like I can't. So when she finally came to get you, it's late. It's 10:15. It's late.
Oh, not here.
Isn't it like 1 in the morning?
It's like midnight 15 here.
Midnight 15. No, right. You're on
Central time.
Central Time.
Yep.
We're Pacific, so
Yeah.
Mountain Time. But then I remembered. No, that's the other. So when she came to, can I speak without stuttering? When she came to get you, when she went and got you, there we go. That sounds a lot more natural. When she went and got you, what was your initial reaction to that?
I couldn't believe it. I thought that was the staff screwing with me until I literally laid eyes on my mom. And then I don't know if I'd ever been ready to go to anything so fast in my life. I packed up what little I had left because a bunch of my crap got stolen too, which I mean, that was super cool too.
Great.
Yeah.
Just
So, I mean, I didn't have anything to take home.
one more thing to add on to such a terrible experience.
Like, I remember, like, and this is like super petty, and I probably should have just let it slide, but it was just so gross. So, one of the younger girls that was there, I know she stole a pair of my underwear. I recognized it. And she wrote her name in it, and I'm like, you know what? It's yours anyway. But you still stole it. Like, I was not about to let that go. I'm like, that's nasty, and you did that, but you stole it.
I came back to a very interesting conversation.
I cannot take that seriously. I'm sorry.
I think I'm missing some very valuable context for this.
You'll see when
That's
you
true.
watch the.
I will see.
And I don't know if you noticed, I deal with a lot of my stuff with humor. I'm wondering how that could have possibly came to be.
Oh wow!
Trauma makes the funniest people.
Doesn't it though? Like my Netflix special should be dropping any minute.
Give her flavor.
Guys, come on. Give her a Netflix special. Don't give Amy Schumer anymore. She's just gonna make the same joke she's been making for like 15 years.
The cringiest ones too. Ugh.
This joke is not going to be relevant in like 10 years. I'm so sorry, folks. Whatever. It's just what it is. It is what it is. So she came to. Oh my God! Why do I keep fumbling this freaking sentence? She went and got you. You packed up your things.
We rode for 4 hours back to where I'm from, and like, I listened to all her stupid classic rock crap that I always gave her a hard time about, and I didn't say a word the whole ride. I was like, "This isn't church music." Oh my God!
Thank God, there's no.
Please play more Bon Jovi. I would love to hear it. Like,
there's no praising Jesus in these songs. Thank God. Well, Bon Jovi's already a national treasure, anyways. So.
I mean, you couldn't really hate on her for that. But
Jovi is awesome. No apologies.
But so I'm sorry, I'm like dry mouthed.
It's okay.
It must have felt like really good to get out and just like.
It did. It did. It felt great. And then it also felt like incredibly sad because I knew there was a bunch of people that were still there.
Oh.
You're just like, I'm free, but they're not.
Well, that and like, I'm free, they're not. And it's 2001 at this point because it had been winter now. And, you know, if you didn't have people's phone numbers and addresses, you didn't see them again.
Oh, yeah.
I am glad that you found that one guy, though. So that's.
Oh, yeah. For sure. And like, I mean, I found a few people that I was in there with, but like, he was definitely like the most significant connection I had there for sure.
You had a little thing with him.
I mean, something had to keep you from jumping out of one of those windows, you know?
Mm.
Yeah.
Ironically enough, speaking of runaways and jumping out of windows, that just made me remember. So, I remember middle of the night, I didn't wake up to this happening, but I heard about it in the morning where apparently these three girls had tried to run away in the middle of the night by getting the sheets and tying them together, and they were gonna, you know, rappel down the third story window. Yeah.
Okay, that's something.
That's some real like movie shit.
They were pretty desperate.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah. So it was probably like a 20-foot drop ish. And so two girls made it down okay. The third girl, however, fell and broke her neck.
Oh no.
Jeez.
And once again, I'm looking back like, and where was the state? Like, a child broke their freaking neck there. And like, they used to send us out in the community to recruit people to go to their creepy ass church, right?
Oh, yikes.
They called it soul winning.
No, soul stealing.
Soul losing.
Yeah.
Soul losing, yeah.
Soul eliciting is what it was.
But
like, but like they sent us out to annoy the community with little Bible tracts, like it was going to make people come or something to our services.
Yikes!
And it was super disturbing. Like looking back, thinking I was like 15, like hoping that I would get abducted because it seemed safer than where I was.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure some crackhead would have probably taken better care of me. Not kidding.
More likely than these weird cultists. I'm gonna call them that from now on.
Because that's what they are. And like I've always wondered like how it is like the community hasn't like run them off with pitchforks yet. Like I can't imagine anybody's like happy to tolerate these people just living with them.
Oh well. Then it's like it's just people don't understand.
They really don't. And it's like just such an insidious and far-reaching evil with these people, and it's really just horrifying.
I mean, yeah, of course it's horrifying. This is what they devote their time to. It's just...
And like, they didn't, and you know, they'd have us like in the congregation with them on like, you know, Sundays and, you know, Thursdays for their important services, right? At the big church with this so-called preacher, which is like all that we referred to him as was just preacher. And I'm like, weird.
Preacher.
Like that doesn't sound like something out of a freaking horror movie.
The preacher. Sounds like the name of it. It sounds like the leader of like the leader of like a cult.
It kind of was.
Like we I just we talked when we were talking to Drew last week. He brought up two men that I wrote down the names of. I just thought it'd be important to read David LaPere and Joey Gould were kind of like the ringleaders of this sort of.
Right.
I did write that down because I thought it'd be important. And what I'm taking away is that this preacher douchebag, he's probably dead now.
He's not. He's still running this church right now, today.
Oh, it's
God.
still open?
Yeah. It's still open. The facility is not. The
Oh, the
creepy ass
church.
church is.
I see.
Okay. Deliver him a message.
Yeah,
Being such a douche, Mr. Preacher Man. You can't scare us. We have more power than you. Na 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 na.
Well, and see, in this same preacher asshole, I remember when I had been in trouble for one of the times that I had been caught with that young man. And then I think this was after running away, and this was when my mom had finally been like, no, we're done. Was when he'd also alluded that I should repair my relationship with my biological father, who, you know, as we stated at the beginning, did all that horrible stuff. So I'm like, absolutely not. But a few months prior, for my birthday, my older brother sent me a birthday card. My older brother happens to be gay.
Oh,
No
I
problem.
can imagine what they said about that.
So he was evil and wicked, so I couldn't have any mail or anything from him. But, you know.
Freaking Old Testament followers.
Yeah.
Read the New Testament. It's a lot better. A lot kinder.
But you're talking about how you believe in Jesus, but then you don't believe in the New Testament? Like, that's literally all about him. Like...
Read the New Testament. It's a lot easier. It's a lot nicer. Also, doesn't have any hateful stuff. Yeah, hearing that stuff just pisses me off. So when you got home, how rapidly did your attitude change? What happened next?
Well, I mean, it was a really weird adjustment because, like, you know, it was being cut off from society for 8 months.
Yeah.
So, like, you know, something that I had noticed from the Netflix special, not to be like a total spoiler alert, was that the young lady had noticed that a movie had come out, something that was huge, and she was mad that the program had taken that experience away from her. And I'm like,
Bro.
it's like the program took Nelly away from me.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, crazy stuff like that.
Oh, it's what it is. And did you ever go back into public school? Or...
I did, because when my mom came to get me at this point, it was like, I want to say like February of 2001.
Okay.
So she didn't see the point in me going back to school just to do like a quarter of the junior year. So I ended up having to cram all of my junior year and senior year in together in 1 year in my senior year.
Okay.
Because they gave you what they called PACEs to do for their, and I quote, education. So it was like the stupidest non sequitur crap that had nothing to do with actually learning anything. It was like, Jesus has 2 apples and Moses has 3 oranges. How much fruit do they have?
Oh, joy.
And then they would tell people that they had like high school diplomas after this. Like,
Yikes.
absolute charlatans.
Congratulations. You're smart. You get your high school diploma. You did stuff.
And it gets better because you see, they also have another ministry called Harvest Baptist College, where they're also pulling out fake college degrees.
No. How is this stuff illegal? I mean, legal. How is this stuff legal?
It's not.
How do they do this stuff? How are they able to pull this stuff off?
People just
Also, a
don't
lot of times these people
believe
are
them.
skirting it with freedom of religion in the Constitution,
Oh,
which is
gosh,
only
yeah.
going to take you so far, though.
Oh God.
Far enough, apparently.
But, Anchor Character Training Center operated until 2020. And so, this was only after they weren't able to get accredited by the state of Iowa for education. And I'm like, well, of course not. That's not an education.
What education? I've never heard of that.
Like,
It's not a thing. How dare they? Whatever. So fast forward 2020, your reaction to the place closing down. What was that like?
actually didn't know that it closed down in 2020 because, quite frankly, I had so much of that stuff blocked out from my memory that I barely even discussed it for that whole time until this came out.
So you just found
So
out,
I've been sitting on this for years.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you blocked it out of your memory because of how painful it was.
How painful it was. I mean, my own life happened, and I can't help but think that some of the things that went on at this place maybe set me up for some failure even later on in life.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, I would like to think I'm a relatively reasonable adult now, but the time, my 20s were horrible. Like, I made horrible decisions. And I think a lot of it was because I figured if I could survive that place, I didn't have anything to be afraid of.
That did actually make my heart kind of sink. I did feel that. It's a depressing feeling.
Like, knowing that I could probably survive prison is not cool. That's not really that funny.
It's the weird enough.
Did he just laugh?
She's adorable.
We're about to bring you up too. Keep that in, Scott. So, when did you meet Scott?
Over the course of time, I became a registered nurse.
Oh.
He too is a registered nurse.
Ah, nice.
Oh, okay.
I was course staff at a really crappy hospital in Iowa, and he took a really bad travel contract at a really crappy hospital in Iowa, and we became the best of friends, and then it kind of just went on from there. But yeah, probably one of the only healthy relationship patterns I'd ever had, and I think that place had something to do with that too.
Well, that's amazing, and it's good that he's. How hard was it to tell him about all this?
It wasn't very hard. We trauma bonded. Where we met was actually during a COVID unit.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and this was pretty horrible for both of us. We were in a situation where we were working 13 hours straight in essentially biohazard suits. I'm bald, so I was getting chemical burns on my head.
Oh, yikes.
People are getting migraines. She was afraid of killing her child, bringing disease home. And so we had this really shitty, terrible sense of humor, and that's where we kind of just made friends. And like I said, it was kind of like a war buddy trauma bond thing, and then our lives kind of kept going on, and we grew together, and so she was pretty easy to tell me any kind of back history. I too have some of my own traumas in my past too, so it's very easy to share with people that have can relate to you in that aspect.
Adorable. Thank you for telling us. My condolences, obviously, for what you had to go through.
Yeah.
Both of you. Yeah, but I'm glad that you found each other, and you are living your best lives. I know you're engaged, which is awesome.
Getting married soon.
Yeah, we're getting married next month.
Oh wow! Congratulations.
Yeah.
That is so that's really sweet. Oh my god. Like I love hearing stuff like that. That's so it just makes my heart go. Oh my god. I am kind of a hopeless romantic myself. I don't get any attention, but it is like it is a personality trait, and it's a character trait. It's not a flaw. Doesn't that mean it's not a flaw? It's just what I do.
The hopeless romantic and then the aromantic friend.
Yes, that's exactly what
Very
this
silly.
is. It's weird, but all the best duos are weird.
I mean,
Yeah,
we're pretty weird.
then that's
But
okay. That is
it
okay.
works.
It works.
It's our dynamic.
Yep, that's
But,
all
like,
it needs to be.
Well, and I'm just thinking too, like another person that was with me in the program that had reached out to me was actually part of, and you'll love this too, the adult program that was living at the same facility as all his teenagers.
Ew.
Oh, that's a whole other level of messed up too.
Yikes.
But one of the residents was, huh?
Just yikes.
That's
Yeah. So one of the adult women that was there was actually this really awesome lady named Dorothea.
Oh.
And so, a lady, she's 5 years older than me. So she was like 20 when I was 15.
Ah.
But like, she was relatively normal. And like, she didn't have like the weird brainwashed like Bible thing happening where she had like the glazed over look.
Thank God.
And like, I remember I was like, please take me with you when she graduated.
She's like, sorry.
But she had right. So she had reached out to me, and we talked for a little while the other day, and she was talking about how they'd always said that she was too loud, too outgoing, and like every time she was talking to the young boys, she was flirting with them, and I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah. So, like, they were already trying to kill, like, everything about her that was cool. Like,
why kill the best part of somebody?
well, apparently that the best part of you is the part God doesn't like, according to these people.
God, I hate the Old Testament so much.
You've mentioned that a lot.
I know. I don't. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. It sucks.
That certainly didn't do anybody there any favors.
Nope. Not at
Well, and
not at all.
not at all. But yeah, so they also like to use us within the facility and also in the community for manual labor. So, yeah. So here's this giant freaking facility that was cleaned solely by the teenage residents.
Oh my
100%.
No.
Yeah. And like, I'm not saying that like it's not like, cool to have some chores. That's actually, I have 3 children, and like you have to have some kind of things to do, or else everything kind of goes to crap.
Okay, three children. That's yeah. I didn't. First of all, being a mother sounds this amount of just. I don't know what's. I think you're the second parent I've interviewed.
You've interviewed.
No.
Becca is also a mother.
Becca's a mother? I didn't interview Becca.
No.
That was you.
Yeah.
I interviewed Pierre first. He's the father of a kid who's currently abused, and I'm working on helping out with that. That's why I started this podcast in the first place. So I'm assuming they're not old enough to hear about this.
The oldest one is my almost stepson, and he's 25. My oldest is 21. I had her like a year after I got out.
Oh wow.
No, more than that. More than that. Not long though. So didn't prevent teenage pregnancy either.
Ew.
teenage pregnancy. Okay. And your other child?
And then my littlest one is 8.
Oh.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming your older one knows about this.
We've talked a little bit about it. I think it kind of makes her uncomfortable to bring it up because I think she's afraid that she's going to make me upset.
Oh.
And that's not really true. But I also don't want to like upset her or make her like worried for me either. So I also don't like tell her lots and lots about it.
Well, that's like, yeah, I feel like there will be a time to like kind of talk things through.
All right.
Yeah. So we're gonna wrap things up here pretty soon here because I have things to do. But I just wanted to like say if before we end, if there's any advice you would like to give to those, would you like to offer some now?
Well, I went a long time thinking that it was just me, that I just didn't want to listen, that I didn't want to comply with some BS rules. But, if it seems like it's wrong, it's because it's wrong. If you have a bad feeling, it's because it's bad. And, the people that really care about you will believe you.
That means a lot. I always bring this up with everybody we interview. I wear this about it's for mental health awareness. I myself am not a member of the troubled teen industry, obviously, but I have faced bullying for my identity and did think once of taking my own life. I wear this as a way of saying you're not alone, you never will be, and I won't ever not wear it because it matters so much to me to know that I matter and that you matter and that everyone who goes through pain matters. Those who give pain don't matter. The people like this preacher or Joey Gald or whoever else is like a bad person in regards to our stories that we tell here, they don't matter. The only people that matter are the ones who go through the most. I'm going to read you something that I wrote today for all of you before we end things out. If you think that who you are right now is not good enough, then you are incorrect. Those who are different and those who try are good enough, and those who aren't are the ones who should be rethinking their lives. You're special, and deep down you know it. I believe in you and care deeply for how you plan to change the world one day. Don't stop being who you are. Strive for what you wish to be. I meant every word of that.
I think so.
It's what I do.
And I'm really glad that you gave me this chance to talk about this. And, hopefully if anybody that, endured that place sees this, in your random searches through YouTube and such.
Yeah.
We're happy to, we were very
reach out.
We plan on doing follow-ups with most of the people we interview, so we'll come back and like kind of talk through some more things in depth.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because that's what we usually do. So before we end,
we haven't done it.
I'll say what I always say. You all are not alone. So thank you for listening in to help support the greater cause and the greater good. Make sure no story is never gone for good. So with that said, we've been Colin Silber and Faceless Aces, and Ashley was our guest. And that's it for now. We'll see you all next time. Take care. Goodbye.
Nice. Actually, So you know how you messaged Chad, right?
Yeah, I never heard back.
That just reminded me of I found out about the TTI because of this TikToker named Maggie Higgins.
Maggie Higgins.
I'm gonna message her and see if she'd be down. I think the last time she posted on TikTok was like 2023 September or something, so it's been a while. But I think it'd be nice just give it a shot anyways.
Yeah.
Cause she was my main like introduction to the TTI. I think it'd be absolutely wonderful if I could if we could interview her.
Yes, yes, of course.
Yeah.
Well, I'd be on board for
I think
something
she works more with Breaking Code Silence than Unsilenced, but they're both like TTI charities.
Well, by September this year, I will be able to volunteer for Breaking Code Silence.
Yeah, you will. Not me.
I can get into that and be like,
we could have one for each charity.
Yeah. I will just as soon as I turn 18, that's one of the first things I'm going to do is I'm going to immediately volunteer.
All right. I'm probably going to end stream. I need to find somebody to raid, so.
I'm going to go to bed. I have a college tour in the morning.
Ooh, fun.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. So I'll see you Monday, and we'll talk more about. All right. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
All right then. Bruv. Where's the thing? Damn. Well, you see nothing. There we go. Right. Let's see who's live then. Ooh, is Atlas live? It's been a while since we've seen Atlas. Let's see. Twitch. Oh shit! Pagan's live. Oh, Alice is live as well. Oh, Pagan's doing Helldivers. That's sick. Yeah, let's go raid Pagan. We love Pagan Priestess here. Pagan _ Priestess _ That's not a command. Fun. Pagan _ Priestess. Oh, there's another underscore. Oops. Priestess _ There we go. We love Pagan and Valacious. They've been like super supportive for everything. So let's go ahead and send them some love. Next stream will be tomorrow. I'm going to be doing some tab because I need to choreograph some stuff. And then I think we have... No, the next couple weeks are not going to have interviews because Colin's going to be out. Unless I do some solo. I can ask people. I'm not sure. It's a possibility. We'll see. But anyways, have a wonderful day. Let's give them some love, and I will see you all tomorrow. Goodbye.